Hello there. Today is 67, day 67 of the 77-day video challenge. Tonight we had a demo meeting for a new proposed Toastmasters club. I don't know, some of you watching might get tired of hearing me talk about Toastmasters, but the thing is, Toastmasters has been a platform for John and I to meet a lot of really nice people who are on the same professional path that we're on with public speaking and professional speaking. So we want to hang out with those kind of people. And Toastmasters is more than just learning how to get up and speak in front of people. I'll tell you a story that I've told this so many times in our clubs. 29 years ago, this month, April, John and I were dating. We were engaged. And we were both broke. I was in beauty school and he was finishing up his associate's degree at Gavilan College in Gilroy, California. I had my own house cleaning business. And he was working for a guy I had quit. Actually, he took my place working for a guy at church who was he was a contractor, carpenter type of thing for the churches. Anyway, Mormon churches. So we didn't have money to go out for dates. We'd go to the mall, hanging around, window shopping, or go buy French fries at Carl's Jr., or go hike up the mountains behind Gavilan College, or go to Big Sur and watch the sunset. One morning, he took me to a Toastmasters meeting, my very first Toastmasters. I'd heard of Toastmasters because my mother wanted to be a speaker. She was absolutely terrified of getting up and speaking. And see, growing up in the Mormon church, we were expected to get up and speak from very young in front of 150 people. So from the time I was 12, I had no problem getting up and speaking. And my mother, she was terrified of it. She'd get up and she'd start crying. And she always talked about how it would be so good to be able to go to Toastmasters. We never could afford it. She was a single mother. And my dad wasn't paying child support, so she had to work overtime to keep a roof over our heads. And she would coach me whenever I had a talk in church. She would sit there and she'd count my ahs, she'd count my ums, my ehs, and encourage my grammar. It makes me wonder if at one time she got to go, but that couldn't be true because they didn't allow women until like the 70s to join Toastmasters. Anyway, but that's beside the point. I'm kind of rambling. Probably because my brain's full of contest speeches. She always encouraged me to speak. And so when John took me to that meeting, it was 6:30 in the morning at a pancake house in Gilroy, California, which, even though I was a cook in the military, yes, and sometimes we had to be in the mess hall at 3:30 in the morning. When I got off of active duty, I swore I would never take a job where I had to get up that early again, as long as I could help it. And even though I stayed in the reserves and I was still getting up early, in my normal life, I said no, absolutely not. So to be at a Toastmasters meeting at 6:30 was not something I wanted to make a habit of. And it was years before I went back. It was probably 5 years, I guess, before. And I would go with John because he went. And I thought, that's fine. I don't want to get up and speak in front of people. I would speak in church. I didn't see that it was more than getting up to speak. It's leadership too. It's a lot of leadership opportunities. And I know I'm going way over with this thing tonight than I need to be. And I didn't feel like I wanted to be a leader because I got that training as a missionary. I went on a mission to Italy for the Mormon Church. And I trained new companions and helped them with their Italian. I was a mess sergeant in the military, and so I had all those leadership skills. I didn't feel like I needed to go to some place every week to meet to practice those. And at the time John was going so much, we had a son at home who was special needs, and I was homeschooling him, and I didn't want to get up in front of people and speak. I was working with our son. But when it got to the point where I wanted to get up to speak again and I wanted my confidence back, I knew where to go, which was Toastmasters. And again, even then, they would go to ask me to be an club officer, and I was like, no, I'm not. I've suffered from depression since I was a teenager, and PTSD and anxiety. So I'm really not the best person to count on for stuff like that. I volunteered to be an officer a couple times and then backed out after about a month or two. And the last time I had to back out was because of health issues. I just can't. They want you to do it for a year, and I can't give a year. I just can't. I'm not trying to make excuses. I guess what I'm trying to say is I finally realized the whole leadership element and value to Toastmasters. Yeah, I do finally see that. It's just I'm not sure that I can do the long term, especially right now while I'm competing with speeches. I can't do all that. Well, tonight we had I guess in the whole thing, God, 6 minutes. I better stop and I'll just talk about the Veterans Club tomorrow. Michael Hobbs brought this up, and he was at our club. We did a demo meeting tonight. It was my first demo meeting. And it's a veterans club that we want to start. And it was so nice to be with other veterans talking, which, we did that with guts. Anyway, I'm rambling on, and it's been 7 minutes, and I'm almost wondering if I'm going to do this video again because I've kind of running around too much with my rambling. So I'm going to end this.